everyone. Yes. Bonjour. Ça va. If I can display that, be better. Right, so I want to take a couple of minutes to talk to you about Jenkins. We've started the migration to a new Jenkins. It's the old Jenkins needed a bit of maintenance. I'm not sure. Is that okay? Well, there's not much to see anyway. It's pretty much the same interface on the new one. A lot of the work is happening in the background. So the master is now running in Kubernetes. We're looking at using stuff like Vault for the credentials. So we're just doing some tidy up in the background, really. There is a new UI for Jenkins, which is supposed to be nice and blue and full of colors, although you can't really see that very well. I don't particularly think it's very, very good, but you'll have a try and see what you think. So there is quite a lot of stuff to migrate, so we've decided to do it in smaller chunks. Sorry. So we're looking at just following the projects that we have. We can't really see that very well. But the projects that we have on Bitbucket, we're trying to match them onto the new Jenkins. You see you just have to trust me, I suppose. So, for example, on Jenkins, we have all the ops folder with all our projects that maps directly what's happening on Bitbucket at the minute. It doesn't have to stay like this, but for now it's just simplify things and it's just simplify the migration. We can just split it in smaller chunks. So how we do that? Quite simply, we just rename the Jenkins file effectively, and so this is the public UI one, and Jenkins file is now renamed to Jenkins file -pw, which will match the Pension Wizard project into Jenkins. We'll have other names for other projects effectively, but if you see a Jenkins file with that sort of name, it means that you have to go into the new Jenkins now. Part of this as well, we're also looking at the different repos that we have in Bitbucket, and we have a deprecated project. So if we think that something is not in use anymore, we're trying to move that into that project, put it read-only, just to clean things a little bit. We've also cleaned branches. We've had quite a lot of merge branches that were still on the repos, and unfortunately with the current Jenkins go and do a folder computation, and it will look at all the branches that are available in the repos. So if we keep the merge branches, that's just create a lot more work for Jenkins. So on that note, when you do a pull request, if you make sure that you click the little button that says close the source branch, so that it will clean it automatically. So I said there was a lot of work in the background. We have released a couple of features for you. So we've started to do some tasks in parallel now. So you can't really see that very well, but some of the dependency check, the lint, the SonarQube, and the unit tests are happening on parallel on both Jenkins at the moment. We really want to put the component test as part of the parallel execution, but at the moment we've got issues with conflicts with ports on the Jenkins slave, so we can't do that just right now, but that will happen soon as well, hopefully. Another thing, you're never gonna see that, unfortunately. That's actually a screenshot because it's quite difficult to pick it up, but so you'll have to trust my words on that. But when we were releasing or building onto master, we tag and build, and then on the previous Jenkins, it will trigger a second build for the commit that we've just done. And at the time, it was just starting another build straight away, but we had a locking mechanism, so you can only have one build happening on one repo at one point in time. So we were blocking an executor for nothing, effectively. We've changed that now, so we removed the locking, and what you should see here is that you have a build on master happening there, and another one is just in the queue, so no executor is just waiting for doing nothing effectively. So that should give us a little bit more availability and potential to build stuff effectively. Another thing as well, so that's what Unit has done. So again, can't really see that very well, I suppose. That's the you should have seen an email from Unit asking about changing your Jenkins files. and that's what it should look like now. So we simplify stuff. So you only have to call the build.build. Previously, and that's the example of the public UI, if you wanted to deploy public UI onto different environments, you had to specify the project name, then you have to specify the service name for each environment. You don't have to do that anymore. We go and look into the app config. So we just pick up the changes and we look into one place now. So as long as your config is up to date into app config, it will deploy on the right environment. So a lot simpler. By the way, just make sure that you read Unit's email again. We ask you to update that in your projects before 4th of April. Yeah. This is so that we can lock down the HTTPS access to Bitbucket.
Yeah, we want to enable 2FA on our Bitbucket accounts, and we can't do it because Jenkins still uses HTTPS. That's why we moved Jenkins to SSH.
Cool. It's quite, there's quite a lot of work to migrate everything. So we have quite a few projects to do. We've just started to do the retirement Teams project. Then there'll be the DB. There'll be all the QS stuff. So if something, if you have problem with Jenkins, again, just give us a shout into the platform room on the chat, and we'll give you a hand. But that's it, really. That's what we're doing at the minute.